Tonight, how two men saved a woman from a vehicle surrounded by water. Why are so many inmates being mistakenly released? And how are conditions in Craven as campers roll in for Country Thunder?
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Typically in Saskatchewan, when trouble arises, people don't run away from the danger, they run towards it. Just ask Marjorie Flavel, who was saved by two men this past weekend after her vehicle went off the road and into a slough. Mick Fable has more on this harrowing rescue.
I'm not sure if I hit a rock or if it was just the water, but I wound up in the water.
What started out as a drive home from Beaulieu turned into a dangerous situation for Marjorie Flavel. After dozing off behind the wheel, she awoke to find herself going down a ditch on the wrong side of the road, stopping in a slough. That's when passerby Matt Mario jumped into action.
We watched the car and it dropped probably a foot in like 2 minutes, a foot deeper. So went in there and immediately checked all the doors. Windows weren't working. Everything was fried in there.
Mario got on top of the vehicle where the sunroof was still working. Flavel and her dog were helped out by Mario and another passerby stopping to help, Alex Agari. Back on shore, she was checked multiple times by EMS before leaving the scene. According to Mario, the water was up to his chest and they were sinking fast, with the waterbed feeling like quicksand. Later that evening, he drove by to see how far the car sunk.
The water had come up to like just underneath the window. So her head would have been underwater. So that kind of gave me clarification that like I did the right thing.
Flavel echoes a similar concern about how dangerous things ended up and is thankful for the two men she says are heroes.
By the time we left there was about this much of the car showing, so we would have both drowned. I consider myself very lucky, and luckier more to have the two angels that did save me.
Plans have already been made for Flavel to take the two out for dinner to say thank you. Mick Fable, CTV News, near Craven.
While the summer of severe weather continues, emergency crews are assessing the damage from a tornado that sent some campers to hospital near the Alberta-Saskatchewan border. The Dilberry Lake Provincial Campground, that's located northwest of Macklin, just on the Alberta side of the border, was evacuated Wednesday night after a reported tornado touched down. The RCMP say some people were taken to hospital and everyone who was staying at the campground has been accounted for. Now, there are several East Central communities that remain under a state of local emergency from last week's severe rainfall, but things are starting to get better. As Regina DeClute tells us, road access to the Cody First Nation has been restored.
After heavy rainfall hit the parkland last week, some communities declared a state of emergency, Cody First Nation being one of them, due to road washouts.
And we just experienced a great amount of water at once, and the infrastructure of the culverts, when the creek's filling up, just couldn't handle the overflows.
The torrential rain flooded basements on the reserve, but it also made damage control difficult, as roads to the east, west, and north were flooded.
So we helped when you're on getting pumps, and we made it back in time because the road went out. So if we didn't make it back in time with all the pumps, we'd have more homes that were more damaged.
On a video taken by a band member, a big crack is visible to the south on Highway 8. Soon after, the pavement collapsed under a vehicle, cutting the reserve off entirely for 2 days. The Ministry of Highways soon put up a temporary bridge, and water was cleared from nearby roads, restoring critical access for Cody and other surrounding communities.
A temporary bridge is put there until the highway has planned to to rebuild it, to repave it, to put a new culvert so that it can be fixed up.
In an update today, the Ministry of Highways said the timeline on a permanent fix remains unknown.
Permanent repairs are made after the water all recedes. Things have dried up. Engineers have a good assessment of what needs to be done. And so until those things occur, it's difficult to pinpoint a timeline.
For now, the community is focused on rebuilding.
His basement's heaving now, so there's a bunch of cracks and it's kind of coming up from the ground to the water, pushing it up. And it's pretty bad.
He says there is still hundreds of basements the community needs to clear up. Regina DeClute, CTV News, Cody First Nation.
Meanwhile, the city of Yorkton managed to avoid declaring a state of emergency due to the recent heavy rainfall. The mayor saying that the city's investments of about $30 million into flood mitigation in the past decade paid off. But Yorkton's wastewater treatment plant was working over its capacity last week. It is equipped to take on a population equivalent of 40,000 people, but following that heavy rainfall, it took on water the equivalent of about 100,000 people.
The course of those days, about 40 million liters of water was just pushed directly into the creek because our system simply couldn't handle it. With a new plant, obviously, that would be something we'd be able to handle, and so that's some of the work that we're trying to do now to better prepare ourselves for the future.
The city of Yorkton has been asking both the provincial and federal governments for help with a new wastewater treatment plant, warning that the current system can't support the city's rapid growth and weather events like we saw last week. All right, that was a lot of talk of severe weather because of storms, but it's Craven weekend, so you know it's going to be extreme heat time.
That's
right. And that's what we're getting.
Yeah, we started to see those heat warnings go into place this afternoon, Lee, and it's covering all of southern Saskatchewan. Now, depending on where you are, in the west, we're seeing yellow level heat warnings. In the east, we're seeing orange level heat warnings, and Regina is falling under the orange level heat warnings. Now, I'll talk more about what we can expect in terms of temperatures further into the forecast, but for now, we will start to see those warm temperatures kick in tomorrow. So the humidex values are going to be in the mid-30s. By the weekend, we're going to be feeling like it's in the 40s. If we take a look at temperatures, though, today we warmed up to about 24 degrees, felt more like 29, but even compared to last year, we were sitting at 35. So not out of the ordinary to see temperatures like this for this time of year, but this is due to a heat dome that is developing in the south of the border down in the States. But we'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
That pesky heat dome. Regina residents on the 3700 block of Dutney Avenue had to evacuate their homes briefly this afternoon due to a natural gas leak. Regina Fire and Protective Services and Sask Energy crews responded to the area at about 12:50 p.m. As members were dealing with the matter, traffic was blocked on the street. Sask Energy was able to mitigate the leak immediately, and residents were allowed back into their homes about a half hour later. The cause of the leak is being investigated by Sask Energy. Well, you've heard me say it several times this year, police searching for an inmate that was mistakenly released from a Saskatchewan correctional facility. In fact, it's already happened 5 times in 2026. Laura Woodward has more on why the errors are happening and a call for change.
This is Kalisha Jackson. She was charged with assault and forcible confinement, serving time at the Saskatchewan Hospital North Battleford Integrated Correctional Facility. In March, she was mistakenly released. It took more than 100 days for police to arrest her, and her case isn't the only one. So far this year, 5 inmates have been mistakenly released from Saskatchewan correctional facilities. The Minister of Community Safety says the early releases were the results of administrative mistakes, including clerical communication, paperwork, and processing errors. The province says they're rare, accounting for less than 0.1% of all inmate releases. The John Howard Society says those errors can have consequences for inmates.
If somebody is released prior to when they're supposed to be released, then they aren't receiving the full extent of their programming, and so that would ultimately affect their reintegration and their rehabilitation.
The opposition says the government hasn't been transparent about how the mistakes happened and is calling for an independent investigation.
There are a lot of questions and not a lot of answers from the minister, which is why we are calling for the government to launch an independent investigation.
The government says every release made in error is reviewed by a committee, which makes recommendations aimed at preventing similar mistakes in the future. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Changes are coming to the Saskatchewan Assured Income for Disability program, known as SED for short. The government believes the SED program is overly complex and needs modernization. Wayne Mantika has more on the changes and why the province believes no one will receive less money as a result.
This woman is at the end of a Tim Hortons drive-thru, hoping to raise some extra change.
To raise some money for supper. And I usually raise money for my oxygen.
She receives some government income benefits, but says the programs are difficult to understand.
It is, yeah, it is hard to understand.
The government agrees that disability benefit programs are complicated.
The complexity of the application process, the sheer number of benefits that were available, and some of the inconsistencies.
It is simplifying some said benefit categories while ensuring that no recipient receives less. In fact, 40% of recipients will receive an average of $46 a month more.
We're always looking to make things easier, simpler, better.
The opposition welcomes any benefit improvement.
This is a file that our offices are inundated with all the time. Folks living on SED are struggling.
Local community organizations and churches understand the need.
We try and connect them in, do some advocacy for them, but really it's about getting them the social supports that they need. Because a lot of people on the streets are very isolated, they're alone.
Letters explaining the changes will soon be sent to all 18,000 SED recipients, but each person will be assessed individually. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Well, there's another spot for Regina's youth to access, whether it's much needed support or if they just want to pop in to wind down a little bit. Damian Smith has more.
Located in downtown Regina, the Treehouse Drop-In Youth Safe Space is hoping to be a central location for young people to find connection and support.
The degree to which someone is in need, we can address that on the fly and in real time.
Once a restaurant called Henry II, the revitalized space will have activities like sewing and drum making nights, as well as Cree lessons on Wednesday evenings. 2 counselors will also be on hand.
A youth could show up in acute crisis, and we have the resources here to assist, to address, to help that individual.
It's operated by the Street Culture Project, a group focused on helping youth and young adults. This location on 13th Ave is open to those between ages 15 and 24.
But that also creates opportunity for the older youth that attend to sort of take on a bit of a mentorship role, depending on, like I said, where they're at.
Homebase, an organization that operates similar youth centers in the province, says that offering easy-to-access mental health and peer support for young people is crucial.
Youth will often come in, and that's the first person they talk to in the hubs. So folks that have lived experience, they're around the same age range, they're able to talk to them about some of the stuff that's going on.
The Treehouse location will be open 7 days a week from 3 to 10 p.m.
You don't have to be part of a particular program outside in the community to access the Treehouse. It's for anyone in that age range that wants a place just to come hang out.
Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, the Prime Minister discusses trade and human rights with the leader of Saudi Arabia. Plus, the U.S. ramps up attacks on Iran as the conflict reignites in the Middle East. Boosting trade and investment were integral to Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to Saudi Arabia. Multiple agreements were signed, including a critical minerals partnership. But as Graham Richardson tells us, Saudi Arabia's history of human rights issues was brought up multiple times.
A first in decades, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney meets with Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. This short trip was about connections, trade, and the similarities between 2 very different countries.
Canadian and Saudi businesses have signed 13 new commercial agreements across education, critical minerals and mining, energy, infrastructure, security, artificial intelligence.
In French, Carney said he raised human rights with the Crown Prince, but called it a private conversation. And he made clear this is the way he will be managing these kinds of relationships around the world.
I do see that lecturing countries from afar is an ineffective strategy. It's satisfying, but it's ineffective.
Earlier in the day, Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand said she did raise human rights with her counterpart.
I always raise Canadian values. That's what my role is. That's what our role is as a government.
Carney also addressed the unusual gift of the gun all leaders received at NATO. The engraved revolver came with live ammunition, a gift from the Turkish president.
I would like to reassure Canadians they keep guns away from me. So I never saw it. It's with the RCMP. It's been decommissioned because it's not a legal firearm in Canada. And I certainly don't have a license for it.
When asked directly about conversations at NATO with Donald Trump about the United States and trade, Carney gave unusually short and curt answers, shutting it down right away. Of the still closed Gordie Howe Bridge, he said Canada was only willing to clarify current arrangements. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Leaders of 4 northern Manitoba First Nations have declared a regional public health emergency. It's in response to a crisis that involves opioids, toxic drug supply, HIV, hepatitis C, and homelessness. The impacted communities include Red Sucker Lake, Wassagamak, Garden Hill, and St. Teresa Point. The chiefs of the 4 nations are calling for immediate action, including formal federal and provincial recognition of the public health emergency. They're also pushing for sustained multi-year funding for community-based addictions medicine, harm reduction, along with HIV and hepatitis C testing and treatment. Canada is one step closer to its first ever massive AI data center. Facebook owner Meta says it plans to build one in central Alberta that would be way bigger than the center that's being built near Regina.
This is one of the largest private sector investments in Canadian history. The project will create more than 3,000 construction jobs, support 300 operational jobs, and generate approximately $250 million annually.
The American company says the project would involve an investment of $13 billion. The 1 gigawatt data center is expected to be located in Sturgeon County. That's just north of Edmonton. The site will become Meta's 33rd data center around the world. Alberta Premier Daniel Smith says Meta would also be investing millions of dollars into local infrastructure. The company plans to fund new grid infrastructure, and a data center could consume as much energy as 800,000 homes. WestJet flight attendants are in the midst of voting on a strike mandate. Talks between their union and the airline have been going on for 10 months. The main sticking point? How cabin crews are paid. Flight attendants claim they work 35 unpaid hours each month. Their union says if they vote in favor of a strike mandate, it would give them more power at the bargaining table. The earliest they'd be able to strike is August the 2nd. However, both sides are continuing negotiations. Well, the U.S. and Iran traded new and more intense strikes for a second straight day. This after President Donald Trump declared the ceasefire officially over. Joy Malvin has the latest from Washington.
U.S. CENTCOM says it struck about 90 targets, hitting Iran's air defense systems, missile launchers, drone storage sites, hammering away at military infrastructure along the coastline, aimed at stopping Iran's attacks on commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, a violation, the president says, of the ceasefire.
We just hit them very hard, and I say we hit them 20-1. Every time they hit us, we're going to hit them 20.
Iran retaliating, releasing video it says are missiles aimed at U.S. military bases in the Gulf. Sirens blaring in Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar. U.S. Gulf allies being drawn back into this conflict. Jordan says it shot down missiles launched from Iran. Clearly losing patience, Donald Trump on Air Force One.
They called a little while ago. They want to make a deal so badly. I just don't know if they're worthy of making a deal. I don't know that they're going to honor the deal. Let's see.
Canada calling Iran's attacks on civilian shipping unjustified.
The Iranian steps that it continues to take to, it appears, maintain control of the Strait of Hormuz are unacceptable.
As massive crowds continue to mourn Iran's slain supreme leader, many making their feelings known. So will U.S. bombs bring Iran back to the negotiating table?
We're now focused on reopening something that was open. So what this war has produced is an emboldened, risk-ready Iran, which may well overplay its hand.
It's uncertain where things stand. Negotiations for a final deal dealing with thorny nuclear issues were supposed to start today. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
And tributes are pouring in for Bonnie Tyler, including from Bryan Adams, after news the Welsh-born singer had died at the age of 75. That's a great song. Tyler's gravelly voice featured on 1984's Holding On for a Hero, and her #1 Total Eclipse of the Heart shot her to the top of the charts. Tyler's family releasing a statement saying she passed away Wednesday night in a hospital in Portugal. She had been placed in an induced coma following intestinal surgery, but she was expected to make a good recovery. Coming up, why are more Irish Canadians packing up and heading back to their homeland?
We'd be the first to say Merry Craven, everyone. The annual festival set to rock the valley. We are teeing up Country Thunder Saskatchewan tomorrow with live reports.
All right, welcome back. We're going to take a look. It's Lee. He makes me shake my head on a regular. All right, we're going to get back into your forecast. Temperatures beautiful today. However, we do have those heat warnings in effect that are more so for tomorrow and into the weekend, and I'll talk about that in a second. But today we warmed up to 24 degrees. That's what we're sitting at right now, and feels closer to about 28 degrees right now with the winds just under 10 kilometers an hour. So here is what we're looking at for our heat warnings. We have the yellow level heat warnings in the west. We have the orange level heat warnings in the east. The gray shaded area is still the weather statement regarding the heat event that's essentially expected to last from tomorrow into early next week. And then this yellow square right here is a thunderstorm warning that we have issued right now. And in the northeast, we have some air quality warnings. So a lot happening in Saskatchewan as we approach the weekend. But it is the heat warnings I want to talk further about because we're going to experience some really hot temperatures heading into the weekend, which could essentially affect perhaps how you're planning your weekend. And we'll talk more about that in just a second. But I do want to just point out what we could be expecting when it comes to active weather. Now, with this warm, hot, humid air that we're going to be experiencing over the next few days, we could see the development of some thunderstorms throughout the day. But most of what we're looking at right now will be in the evening. So tomorrow evening, just north of the Swift Current area, we could see a little storm cell making its way through, clearing out by the time it gets even into the Regina area. And then starting Friday, we're looking at clear conditions for most of central and southern Saskatchewan. And then it's not until later in the day by tomorrow evening that we'll see more of that rain coming through parts of Saskatchewan. Again, southern Saskatchewan not really expecting to see a lot as of right now, but sometimes, again, with that hot, humid air, as it rises, it starts to cool. I'm going to just start giving a science lesson. It starts to cool as it's ascending, and that's when we start to see the development of the clouds and the rain that we start to see the thunderstorms coming through. But like I'm showing here, again, once we get into Saturday evening, another storm cell coming through parts of the parkland there. But other than that, we're looking at mostly clear conditions and hot temperatures. A real quick look at what we could expect for rainfall totals. So between now and tomorrow, not a whole lot to show you. Between now and into Saturday morning, again, the parkland could see close to 5 millimeters of rain, 3 for Saskatoon, 1 millimeter for Regina and for the Kindersley area. And then further north, of course, as we're seeing those systems go, they're kind of gearing and directing more towards northern Saskatchewan. And then by the time we get into Sunday, a lot of this rain, like I said, expected overnight in the overnight hours and not during the day. Temperatures tomorrow is when we start to see creeping up into above seasonal temperatures. Still within seasonal for areas like Lloydminster, in the low to mid 20s, 26 for L'Orange tomorrow, 25 for Prince Albert, 27 for North Battleford and Saskatoon, 28 for Yorkton tomorrow in the southwest. We start to see those really warm temperatures getting into the 30s. Again, it is because of that hot air that is coming from that heat dome in the States. 31 for Maple Creek, 30 for Swift Current, 32 for Moose Jaw in the southeast, seeing this similar temperatures, 31 across the board. For Regina tomorrow, 31, feeling like 37. And then here's a look at what we've got coming up in the next couple of days. So Saturday, 34 degrees, feeling like 44. Sunday, 36 degrees, feeling like 43, and I know we have a Rider game that day. Kickoff is at 5 o'clock, and last I checked, it is expected to cool down to 34 degrees, feeling like 41, but a great night for football nonetheless. By Monday, 27, mainly sunny. We'll feel closer to about 28, 29 degrees, and then we start to see those temperatures get back into seasonal range. Tuesday, we could possibly see some rain coming through, and then Wednesday, 25 degrees, 25 on Thursday as well, where we start getting back into that seasonal range. So again, we see these really warm temperatures throughout this summer, Lee, and this is of course due to that heat dome coming in from central states.
Heat dome.
Heat dome.
It's back in Saskatchewan.
It is.
All right. Try not to melt on Sunday, Sabine.
All right. Thanks.
Try not to melt in Craven. Dust off those cowboy hats. Country Thunder gets underway officially tomorrow in Craven. Campers filed in today to set up their spots. Typically, camping opens on Wednesday, but muddy conditions from all that rain delayed it by a day. But as Jacob Carr tells us, that did not seem to dampen any spirits.
Even something as small as winning a flashlight had Country Thunder goers in an excitable mood Thursday afternoon. Festival goers starting to nestle into their campsites as they prepared for a weekend of sun, music, and fun. And for some like James Runge, who have been attending for 30-plus years, Country Thunder has become a family affair.
It's the one time out of the year when all of us live in different spots in Saskatchewan and in Alberta that we can all come together and kind of be with each other, obviously taking the music, taking the festivities, but really it's just about our kind of little Craven family.
Whether it's a Country Thunder regular like Runge or someone who is attending the festival for the first time, it's all about having a good time.
The party, the having fun, hanging out, everything. The music too. Sounds like it should be fun. First ever concert.
Livingstone is not the only first-timer at Country Thunder. Tide Cocktail Company is making their debut at the event as a vendor, but it won't be purely a business trip this weekend.
Our activation is from 12 till 6 p.m. So after that, we'll be able to go and enjoy the crowds, enjoy the food, the cocktails, and again, just enjoy the summer heat that we have lined up for the weekend.
So whether you're an attendee like Runge, who has been going since he was 14, or a new visitor to Craven, Runge says it is all about the shared experience.
Maybe we can start calling it just a music festival and bring out different genres and let a bunch of people enjoy the experience of what Craven really is. It's not just about the music. It's really about the vibe of being out here. You get to meet cool people, you get to hang out with people maybe you don't see or you only see once a year.
Country Thunder runs through Sunday when Lainey Wilson will headline the main stage. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Well, forget St. Patrick's Day. Some people want more than one day to experience their homeland. More and more Irish Canadians are actually applying for citizenship right now in Ireland. The numbers come from an American company helping people get that citizenship. CTV's Jonathan McInnes looked into what's driving that surge.
Irish roots run deep in the Maritimes.
I'm very proud to be both Canadian and Irish as well.
A company called Irish by Descent helps people pursue their birthright citizenship. Last year, more than 2,000 Canadians filed applications. That's nearly a 50% jump.
Well, it's been remarkable, really, the increase in people seeking to become Irish citizens, and the foreign birth registration is the first step towards citizenship. You get that, and then you can apply directly for an Irish passport.
And being a citizen of Ireland has benefits throughout the European Union.
If you can get a passport for Ireland, you have access to any of the European Union countries as basically a citizen of them as well.
Searches for citizenship information could continue to grow. 2027 will be the 180th anniversary of Irish immigration into Canada to escape the potato famine.
Next year's a big year, and they've created a big initiative to celebrate culture and festivals that promote Irish and Canadian culture.
One of the biggest Irish festivals in Canada happens annually in Miramichi.
It's obviously a festival bringing people together, and it celebrates the culture of the rich Irish roots that came to Canada.
Doherty sees the increase in birthright citizenship as a benefit to Ireland.
Well, Ireland gets huge economic gain from the diaspora, because not only do they come as tourists to Ireland, but they also come maybe to live in Ireland.
And celebrate two cultures that have had close ties for nearly 2 centuries. There are nearly 4.5 million Canadians with Irish roots, and 600,000 of them are here in the Maritimes. Brian Doherty thinks the number of those people seeking Irish citizenship will only continue to grow. Jonathan McGinnis, CTV News, Halifax.
Still ahead after years of being passed up, has American receiver and returner Matthew Sexton found a home with the Riders?
Your Morning Minute is brought to you by Co-op.
Standing here in the summer sun with Tyler Dunn, and we're talking about how to turn $50 into $75,000 or a brand new truck. Tyler, how do we do it?
Yeah, it's our Find Your Summer sweepstakes, which started last week and runs till the end of August. So basically save your $50 receipt at any of our home centers, gas bars, convenience stores, food stores, and enter it at findyoursummer.crs for a chance to win. Like you said, the Ford F-150, $75,000. Yeah.
Fantastic. And that, of course, is the grand prize, but there are other prizes and there's bonus codes too?
Yeah, you'll find bonus codes on our social media, on our app, throughout our stores. Enter those bonus codes on the website for a chance to win too.
Perfect. Lots of instant win stuff. You can enter and get all the details at findyoursummer.crs. CTV, Your Morning Saskatchewan, airs Monday to Friday from 6 to 9 on CTV in Craig.
Rider returner Matthew Sexton made quite the first impression in Week 5 against the Ottawa Red Blacks, taking a punt more than 100 yards for the touchdown. And to him, it is the culmination of years of hard work in several professional football teams that he didn't make. Donovan Mace has more on Sexton's journey.
It didn't take long for Matthew Sexton to show off his stellar speed.
Good burst on the far side. Now he's got a little bit of room on the sideline. Sexton, one man to beat, and he does!
Taking just the third punt, he fielded 101 yards all the way to the end zone.
Matthew Sexton into the starting lineup and into the end zone.
His first career Canadian Football League touchdown in his first regular season game.
One thing about a returner is you make sure you don't get tackled by the punter. And that was the biggest thing I did, you know.
Into the lineup because Letcher had been injured.
For Sexton, the play is the culmination of years of hard work. Saskatchewan is the 9th professional football team he's played on in 6 seasons.
Sexton has it at the 20, the 15.
Eastern Michigan product trying his hand first in the NFL with 5 different teams.
Sexton bouncing it to the outside. Matthew Sexton with room down the sideline.
And to the XFL and the UFL before the CFL.
All the way for a Brahmas touchdown.
Ending up with the green and white after being released by the Red Blacks after rookie camp.
I bounce around a lot, so it feels really nice. It's, again, one of those, you know, even though it was in Ottawa, all this type of stuff, it's just a full circle moment for my career.
Providing the spark Saskatchewan is looking for as a flurry of injuries impact its receivers room and return game.
He's a heck of a receiver too, man. But yeah, just a guy that brings us some juice. We certainly needed it on last week.
I've always been told the more you know, the more you play. So I truly believe that, and I live by that. I'm going to go out there and put my best foot forward, do what the team requires.
The 101-yard return is the 6th longest punt return in Roughriders history. His touchdown also the first time a Roughrider returner has scored in his debut. Donovan Mace, CTV News, Regina.
Well, the quest to make a third straight World Cup final continues for Kylian Mbappe and France as they took out Africa's last hope, Morocco, in the first of 4 quarterfinals. The French captain scored a beauty, his 8th of the tournament, tying Lionel Messi for the lead. Then, minutes later, Dembele joins the party, just beating the Moroccan keeper to give France the 2-goal lead. They win 2-0. That's the same score they beat Morocco by in the semifinals of the 2022 World Cup. Quarterfinals resume tomorrow with Spain facing Belgium. Spain has yet to concede a goal in this tournament. Kickoff 1 o'clock on Saturday. The game dividing my household, England and Norway, will start at 3 p.m., followed by Argentina, the only South American country left. They're facing Switzerland at 7 p.m. All games are on CTV or TSN. Still ahead, checking in on the annual Ladybug release.
Here's what's happening in our community. Capel Valley Art Show and Sale will be happening on July 11th, starting at 10 a.m. at the Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church in LeBret. For details, call 306-529-2144. Drop Zone wants you to defy gravity by registering to participate on August 22nd. Raise funds to support Easter Seal Saskatchewan. Spots are limited. Register now at dropzoneyqr.ca. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen. Now take a look at what your rural forecast is looking like tomorrow. Now, depending on where you are, you may feel some extreme heat coming your way. Then that is due to some of the heat warnings that we're going to be starting to see due to the temperatures warming up above seasonal tomorrow. 27 degrees for Wynyard and Hudson Bay, 30 for Outlook, 27 for Watrous, 26 for Melfort. Spiritwood could see a risk of thunderstorms, 24 degrees there, and 23 with a risk of thunderstorm for Meadow Lake, 25 for Lloydminster and Kindersley, 29 with a mix of sun and cloud. Closer to the southern border, though, those temperatures are feeling even warmer than what we're seeing on the screen. 31 degrees expected for Pilot Butte, Lumsden, Assiniboia, Rockland, Maple Creek, and Leader. Temperatures will feel more like closer to the high 30s. East End Cypress, 28, 30 for Rosetown, 32 for Coronach, 28 for Broadview, Carlisle, and 27 for Kenora. Taking a look at Manor, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel. 28 degrees tomorrow, mainly sunny with the winds up to about 25 kilometers an hour, but that 28 degrees will be feeling closer to about 36 by midday tomorrow.
Well, today was the City of Regina's annual Ladybug release. 200,000 ladybugs were distributed to participants to release in the park or take and release at home. The purpose of the release is to educate the public about biological pest control, other family-friendly activities, including face painting, and programming by the Regina Public Library also happened.
Ladybugs do a lot to help control pest populations, particularly aphids. They're really good at controlling the aphid population. They can eat about 5,000 aphids, in their lifetime.
A lot of aphids. Organizers say that more than 1,000 people attend the event this morning. Well, the housing market in Saskatchewan continues to stay red hot, and with prices continuing to climb, the gap between average home prices in Regina and Saskatoon is actually expanding. Keenan Sorokon explains.
A new report from the Saskatchewan Realtors Association shows a pricey difference between buying a home in Saskatoon compared to Regina. Last month, the average price of a home in Saskatoon hit a high of over $448,000. Regina also set a record with an average price of just over $356,000. Which means buying a home in Saskatoon will cost you almost $100,000 more.
Two cities that are, 2.5 hours apart, but have two very different stories to tell right now in how they build out their cities, how they attract people, how affordable they are, and I think people will start asking questions.
Regina realtor Craig Adams says the rule of thumb used to be about a 10% difference between the two cities, but now homes in Saskatoon are about 25 to 30% more expensive.
So that $300,000 house in Regina is now pushing $390,000 in Saskatoon. So that gap has really widened in the last few years.
Demand in both cities is outpacing inventory, with many homes being bought as soon as they hit the market. Adams says there's roughly the same number of homes available in both cities, and Saskatoon's larger population is creating bidding wars in some neighborhoods.
We saw a place 3 days ago. It was listed for $690. And it ended up selling for $140,000 more than it was listed for. So we're still seeing significant overbids.
The average price of a home in Saskatoon is higher than both Winnipeg and Edmonton. And Garrett worries Saskatchewan's affordability advantage could be damaged if this trend continues.
There's a trickle-down effect years down the road of affordability. And unfortunately, that future homeowner is not sitting at that table.
The market is showing no signs of slowing down, with analysts looking to the late fall or winter for the market to cool. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
All right, let's take a look at the canola street price. Farm Boards, street price for canola, down $3.20 to $722.05 per ton. Futures price down $7.40 to $774 per ton. Amber Durum wheat, $285.20 per ton. Red Spring wheat has jumped up $1.62 to $289.28 per ton. Feed barley, $251.59 per ton. Flax, $630.54 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge and ICE Futures Canada. The markets both on the way up today. The TSX up 264 points. The Dow Jones up by 139 points. The Canadian dollar went the other direction, down 0.04 cents to 70.56 cents US. On a commodity front, gold up $46.21. West Texas Intermediate crude dropped by $2.33, while Western Canadian Select crude went up by $2.83. So gas in Regina, no movement right now. It is currently sitting at $1.58.9 cents per liter.
It was yet another blowout quarter for the clothing company. Aritzia reported first quarter revenue of $950 million. That's a 43% increase year over year. Sales were up 25% in Canada, but 55% up in the U.S. The company's also doing well online. It expects sales to hit at least $4.5 billion this year. OpenAI now has ChatGPT Work that can gather details from apps and files to create finished products like spreadsheets and presentations. OpenAI says it can work for hours on complicated tasks. Anthropic introduced a similar product called Claude Cowork earlier this year. MDA Space is acquiring an interest in a French satellite company. The Canadian firm will pay $920 million in cash for a 70% stake in CLS. The company is a subsidiary of the French Space Agency and provides space-based analytics. MDA will aim to raise $1 billion to pay for the deal by issuing new shares. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we've got a couple of big bangs followed by a couple of children ruin everything. Then Traders Canada. Big bang again and e-talk. So triple big bang, just split up a little bit.
Just for fun.
You can't go 3 in a row. Bad things happen when you do it 3 in a row. You know the expression, silence is golden? It's true, unless you are a parent of a toddler, because silence is kind of suspicious.
This toddler loves placing stickers all over her Pomeranian puppy, and the puppy doesn't seem to mind, at least not yet. When it's time to unstick them from that fluffy fur, the dog may have some regrets. But I mean, at least the trouble was contained to one area. Oh.
I don't know. The Pomeranian has a little bit of shame in the eyes, see? Just won't even look at the owner. Just,
So cute, though. Oh, gosh, yeah.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah. Makes for a cute picture. Well, I shouldn't say many. Some of you may be hitting a golf course this weekend. Hopefully your game isn't disrupted like this one.
He's coming right at us.
Crazy video. It's not AI. Captured from a golf cart shows a suspect leading a police chase right through an Ohio golf course. Police say the chase lasted about 10 minutes, but the driver of the van, who had been accused of attempted murder, had been on the run for hours. The chase came to an end when the van plowed into a patrol vehicle and the suspect was eventually apprehended. I guess that'd be an unplayable hazard.
Oh.
On the golf course.
Can you imagine?
I mean, I've seen videos of vehicles going crazy on a golf course, but it's usually something AI related with.
But would you be, if you were in that golf cart, would you follow behind?
I kind of want to see what's going on.
I want to see how this ends.
I mean, my game's going badly, so let's just check in and see what's going on.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't think you're going to see that at a golf course in Saskatchewan.
And if you are on a golf course, please just make sure you're hydrating with water this weekend.